Hi guys, I'm back again with another reaction video, and today we're reacting to 17 house details in the US that puzzle foreigners. So let's see if it's gonna puzzle me as well. But before we do start, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell button to get notified whenever I do upload a video. Anyways guys, let's check this out.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. And apparently, huge freezing cold houses with weird sockets. Wait, what's so strange about American homes? Well, anytime I invite my non-American friends over to my house, they're happy to point out how bizarre it is. For example, 1. Big houses. First of all, not all Americans have huge houses. Plenty of people rent small apartments, and houses come in all different sizes. But yeah, I'll agree that the typical American home is pretty big and spacious compared to other countries, where the average square footage for European houses is about 1,500 feet. It's 2,700 feet in the US. I guess the numbers don't lie. Number 2,
I guess here it depends what city you're in. If it's a crowded city like Manila, of course you're gonna get like European sizes or Japanese kind of like sized homes. But if you are in a city that is less populated, then you're gonna have like huge space
for everything. To fill our giant houses, we've got a room for pretty much anything you can imagine. If you can count closets as tiny rooms, and they kind of are when you think about it, every American home has multiples of those.
I think
there are closets for clothes in each bedroom, usually one near the front door for coats and shoes, one in the bathroom or hallway for towels, one in the kitchen in the form of a pantry.
Okay, so some houses here you will have the coat. Nah, you don't really have coat closets here. It's more of like a shoe closet or a shoe rack when you enter the door. We don't also have the towel closet. We put it in the bathroom, but everything else seems similar.
We love storage space that's built into the house. Those big wardrobes you might get from IKEA aren't really a thing here. Number 3, huge personal washers and dryers. Speaking of rooms, there's also usually one just for doing laundry. Also, most Americans have both a washer and a separate dryer, and they tend to be big too. My European friends tell me that their washer is in the kitchen or bathroom, and they hang their clothes to dry.
We hang our clothes.
I'm sure it comes down to the issue of space. Still, even if a person in the US doesn't have their own, they just go down to the laundromat to use the machines there. You won't see many Americans hand washing their clothes or hanging them to dry. I mean, who has time for that? 4, basements. And here's yet another way to have plenty of storage space. Or, of course, if you're in the Midwest, basements serve as a shelter when a tornado hits. But besides storage and tornado safety, a lot of American homes have gorgeous finished basements that serve as another living space.
I want that.
It might be in the form of a guest room or a recreational area to hang out in. 5,
we don't have those.
The abandoned dining room. And there are some rooms that we don't even use at all. Okay, maybe this just applies to my family, but we never use the dining room. It's there.
Same.
We have a beautiful dining table, but we always just take our dinner to the living room and watch TV while we eat.
Same.
Hey, dinner and a movie. 6, serious about fire safety. More specifically, I'm talking about having multiple smoke alarms throughout the house. I
mean, in our personal house, we don't have it, but the modern houses that are being built nowadays, they have fire alarms. I feel like for the rich people and the celebrities, they do have those. But for like average household, we don't have those.
I have one in the kitchen, another in the hallway, and one in each bedroom. That's what the National Fire Protection Association recommends, and I'm probably not alone in following their guidelines to a T. Fire safety is taken so seriously in the States that landlords can get in big trouble if they don't immediately fix a non-working smoke alarm for their tenants.
That's good.
And perhaps it's for fire safety or just a convenience thing. But I've always had an electric stove in any house I've lived in. Gas stoves aren't as popular as they are elsewhere.
I wish we have electric stoves also, but it's not like here there's always like electricity cuts, so we always have like no lights most of the time. Sometimes we don't know when the electricity is gonna get cut, and sometimes we don't know for how long. So having gas stove is the way to go for most people, but I love electric stoves better because I'm scared of gas, but I have no choice. I don't want to live here anymore.
Where in the world? 7. Wall-to-wall carpeting.
Oh, damn.
This point will often depend on how old a house is, because a lot of the old ones have wooden floors. But most homes, especially the newer ones, have wall-to-wall carpeting in every room.
Whoa,
Well,
I want
not
that.
the kitchen or bathroom, of course, but everywhere else, it's carpeted. Is this really just an American thing? If you're from
Probably.
another country, you'll have to let me know down below.
We have carpet in certain areas of the house, like living rooms, sometimes kitchen. I don't know why, but no, not kitchen, sorry, the dining room. But bedrooms, it depends, I think, on the family. But in my house, there's none. It's cold tiles. Cold tiles. Well, we don't have winter, so it's okay to not have carpet.
8. How low can you go?
What do you
Now,
mean?
my European friends find my toilet quite fascinating and mildly confusing. I guess toilets in the US sit lower than the ones in Europe do. It's not because we're necessarily shorter or that it's more comfortable for us. Low-sitting toilets actually serve a purpose. Being closer to the ground is a healthier and more natural way to, do your numbers. Before we even had commodes, our caveman ancestors squatted on the ground.
So if Europeans think that American toilets are short, how would they think about the other Asian countries like Japan, Hong Kong? I don't know about Korea, I've never been. So how would they think of their toilets? Interesting.
Just trying to keep it all natural over here.
I think ours is
And,
American size
civilized too, of course.
here in the Philippines.
9. Toilet bowls full of water. You didn't think I was done talking about toilets, did you?
Ours is not
Okay,
full.
one more toilet fact for the day. In
Enough.
the U.S., they're full of water.
Oh gosh.
On his first visit
This is ours, like the European.
for the day. In the U.S.,
This is how ours look like. Wait, so maybe we do have a European standard size toilet then, because this one looks too short, to be honest. And what is this? What is this hole doing here? But yeah, this is how our toilets look like. It's not full of water, but it's gonna splash everywhere. This is what do you guys do? Why do you have so much water?
they're full of water. On his first visit to the States, one of my friends actually thought my toilet was clogged.
I would
Nope.
think so.
All that water is totally normal and serves several purposes as well.
Like what?
First of all, it keeps the bowl from getting too dirty and staining the porcelain. That way, we don't have to use the brush as
Makes
often.
so
It
sense.
also minimizes smells. But there is a downside of more splashing, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
I think you do.
you don't want.
10. One faucet to rule them all. I haven't done a lot of traveling, but I have been to the UK, and I was flabbergasted by the separate faucets in the bathroom. How do you guys use those anyways? I have to wash my hands under scalding hot or freezing cold water separately. Jump back and forth
We
between
have
the
only
two.
one as
In
well.
the US,
It's
since
just
always
cold.
have just one faucet, and you can customize the temperature of the water however you
Good for you. I wish we had centralized heating for our faucets, but we don't. We just have them in the showers. So when it comes to the faucets, it's just cold water. And
like.
during the cold
Now,
season,
as for getting that perfect temperature when you're taking a shower, don't even get me started on that. 11. Crank up the AC. Yeah,
I don't even
most
know
of us
how.
leave the AC running all through the summer instead of opening a window or using a fan.
We don't have
Probably
AC.
not the most cost-efficient solution, especially in a big house, but it just feels so nice.
Oh,
The
Manila,
same goes
yes.
for cranking the heat up in the winter. You won't see many radiators in the U.S. 12. Wearing shoes inside. Most of the world has a pretty strict policy about taking your shoes off at the front door.
Or a slipper.
But that's not really the case here. Most families are totally okay with wearing shoes inside around the house,
But it's dirty.
as long as they're not muddy or anything. Sure, there are those American families that don't do it. So if you're ever
I
in the
feel like
state-
my mom will be that. She'll be like, move your shoes or else gotta cut your feet. Just kidding.
Sure, there are those American families that don't do it. So if you're ever in the States, it's customary to ask if you need to take your shoes off at the front door. Most of the time, the answer will be, nah, you're fine. 13. Switchless sockets. Now, apparently in Europe, you have a switch to either allow the power to flow by turning a button on or cutting it by switching it off.
We have some sockets here that are with switches. I mean, like, yeah, the on and off. And we have, but most of them now, like most houses now, they don't do the on and off things anymore. They're now direct.
America, you don't have this
Yeah, it's just
option.
like that.
And that's most likely because of the fact that we have a lower voltage running through our sockets. So the risk of shocking yourself when you unplug something without turning the socket off first isn't as high. 14. No tea kettle in the kitchen. The U.S. is mostly a coffee drinking country, so we don't really use tea kettles. And if you're
We
thinking,
still do.
well, what about a kettle to boil water for instant coffee? The answer to that, my friend, is that most homes have a coffee maker to brew it fresh.
Actually, here it depends on the household again. Some people, like when you go to the provinces, like the provinces, yeah, they still use kettles. When you come to like cities like this, where I'm not like Manila, huge cities, we use like the water dispenser or the coffee maker, depending the household. And then when you go to like Manila, the big cities, then I guess they do water dispenser as well, or the faucets with the hot water already. But that is only for like the rich, because water in the Philippines is, you don't want tap water. Let me just say that. Nobody wants tap water. So I don't believe that anybody uses tap water for tea or coffee. I feel like they use the water dispenser, the mineral water for their coffee. Or, like we said, coffee maker. Sometimes we use the kettle if we don't have electricity because, like I told you a while ago.
15. Garbage disposal.
Oh, that is what I want in my life.
The convenience of rinsing your plate right in the sink, flipping the switch, and sending all that ground up food down the drain.
I want that.
Garbage disposals are a lot more common in the States. In fact, over 50% of American homes have one. I imagine it
That's
comes
my
down
dream.
to better sanitation and avoiding raunchy smells coming from your trash can. 16.
And worms.
Flags everywhere. Americans
Because
really do.
the trash here is only taken once a week. And it's not even like you take it to the front of your house and there's this big trash can there and once a week the truck comes and get it. No, you have to keep it in your house for a whole entire week, and then you have to walk how many kilometers or meters to drop it to the community trash pile before they it's a long process. It's a freaking long process, trash in the Philippines. So what I'm trying to say is at the end of the week your trash already has like maggots. So we need trash dispenser, what's this, disposal, whatever it's called anymore. But for most household, what they do is they either have like this can, like this big bucket wherein they put all their excess food, and they give it to like the people who have pets or pigs because they eat those. And yeah, I know.
Do love to display the old Star-Spangled Banner. So most homes here have
Don't
at
do
least
that,
one
no?
hanging outside the house.
I've never seen a house with a
But
Philippine
it's not
flag.
just our national flag we like to hoist. A lot of people have a flag with their favorite football team
Match.
or
I'm gonna
the college
try.
they went
I'll
to
put my
on it.
own
What can I say?
favorite
We
soccer
like
team.
flags. 17. Pristine lawns.
Oh,
And finally,
I want that
surrounding that big house full of
I really love American houses. Like, it's if you speak to a Filipino, you ask them what type of house do you want. Most people, not everybody, but most people are gonna say American houses. Like, that is our perception of like a beautiful home, is like an American home. So that the lawn, oh, so beautiful.
lawns. And finally, surrounding that big house full of rooms, closets, carpet, and weird sockets, we have
Weird
our
sockets.
beautiful lawns. Okay, the perfect pristine kind
Oh, I
are
like
usually
those.
only found in the suburbs.
I was gonna
But
say.
in general, Americans like to take care of their yard.
Is
Plus,
it
most
because-
neighborhoods have rules
Yeah,
about
I
it.
was gonna say, is it
Even
because
if you
it's a
don't
rule?
want to, you often have to keep your lawn mowed and free of leaves.
Can you
or
hire
clutter.
someone to do it? Because
Everything's got to look nice and clean. And now, whether you're American or not, which of these things apply to your house? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give
I'm
this video
thinking,
a
I
like
can't
and share
remember.
it with a friend. But hey, don't
I think the closet space is something that applies here a lot, because we also like to keep a lot of things. Philippine equals hoarder country, so that is something that applies to us, is the closet space. And what else? I feel like also the dining table. I mean, a lot of families do use it, especially if you have the parents around. They use the dining table a lot. It's like Filipino is about family, but if your families are not around and you're just like, by yourself, or you're living with people that are not your family, like your friends, then it's not really a place that you use often. So what else? I think that is the most common thing, is the closet space and the sockets. That is the only thing that we have in common. Everything else, I feel, is different. It's really it's really different over here. So let me know what other things that you feel like were left out, or what are the things that we saw in this video that you feel are actually not true to your household. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.